All right, so I know this is a really old topic, and at this point, we moved on to the next season. But I really wanted to hear what Maurice Jones-Drew's thoughts were on the Super Bowl. You know, with him being a running back or former running back, and Todd Gurley showing up or lack thereof as poorly as he did in the Super Bowl. And I wanted to hear what his perspective was on what happened. Let's see what he has to say.
2 days post-confetti falling, and from the looks of things in Boston, the excitement hasn't dwindled a single bit. Everything you need to know about the Patriots' 6th parade in 17 years coming up here on NFL Total Access. With Scott Hansen, I'm Lindsay Rhodes.
Yeah, just another Duck Book Tuesday here at NFL Network. If you are a 17-year-old Boston sports fan, you have witnessed 12 championship parades in your 17-year existence. 6 of those, as Lindsay just mentioned, courtesy of these guys, the NFL's dynasty. The New England Patriots with their citywide...
All right, here we go.
Celebration today. They say about 1 million people came out. Amazing weather, unseasonably warm and sunny. Temperatures in the 60s today in Boston. Our Mike Giardi and James Palmer were there.
Well, Mike, back here in freezing rain for a Patriots parade today, mid-50s, and the crowd showed the weather. They estimated over 1 million people. We didn't see a speck of concrete as the crowd went 40, 50, 60 deep, and they chanted, "We want 7." Doesn't seem like they're satisfied with 6, as owner Robert Kraft went by us right here. He pointed the Lombardi Trophy at us and said, "Let's go, let's go." It's not a sense of we accomplished something. This is just a step towards the next one.
Of course, though, this is the emotion of a couple days after, and you're still sort of bathing in that Super Bowl win. But now you got to start thinking about business, and you know Belichick and Caserio and those guys already are. We saw Rob Gronkowski go by. He said it's going to take a couple weeks before he decides whether to continue on. Trey Flowers, pending free agent, they can franchise tag him, going to get a lot of money in the open market. And then the McCourty brothers went by, and Jason probably at the end, Devin sort of teased us on opening night about whether he'd play or not. I said, you can't retire, as he was going by, and he said, my wife won't let me. Take that for what it's worth.
Big decisions ahead there, and on the other end of the emotional spectrum, we've got the Rams dealing with similar questions in a very dissimilar environment, cleaning out their lockers today in Thousand Oaks and working through the disappointment of Sunday's loss. Cleaning out their lockers today in Thousand Oaks and working through the disappointment of Sunday's loss.
I think, if anything, when you look at people like we've talked about that are successful in life, it's people that have the...
And once again, I'm going to reiterate, I did a video on why I believe the Rams lost the game. And my point was hovering around the fact that an accumulation of great talent doesn't make you a great team. And I'm not saying that accumulation of great talent can't win, but when you go up against a great team, there's no way you're going to beat that team unless they just have an off day. In the NFL, unless they have an off day, or you just play far beyond what, expectation was for you. So, the Rams were a really good team. But they were just an accumulation of talent, man. And that's all they were. And they're dangerous. If we're talking regular season, probably like week 8, week 9, they're dangerous then. But one of the key parts of that team was missing, and that was Cooper Kupp. When Cooper Kupp went down, the Rams offense, I'm not going to say it struggled. I'm going to say that it just was different. And it showed when they were at their most adverse, it showed. Jared Goff was just a shell of himself. And that's how crucial a go-to guy is. That's why I say, look, man, I think Julian Edelman is a Hall of Famer. In my opinion, he's a Hall of Famer, man. If you're going to put Eli Manning in the Hall of Fame, you got to put Julian Edelman in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. And you can't compare stats because Eli is a quarterback. He's been on the field every single down that he's been healthy for that team for the past, 14 years? You can't really compare that. There's no way you can compare the two. But if we're talking about Super Bowl championships impact on the team, and if we're talking about importance to the team and its success, come on, man. I'm not saying he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. At some point in the future, he should be a Hall of Famer. He should get in there. I don't care if it's like on the 10th ballot or something like that after he retires. And it's not like Julian Edelman has terrible numbers. I mean, you got to also take in consideration that Julian Edelman didn't play for the first... Like, he didn't play starting wide receiver for like the first maybe 4 years. I think he started once Randy Moss left and Welker left. That's when we started to see more Julian Edelman. And I believe that was around 2013. So this dude has been starting since 2013. So during his 5-year stretch, his numbers aren't gaudy, jump straight out at you like a Calvin Johnson or Odell Beckham or somebody like that, or Antonio Brown, but he was important to multiple championship teams, and that's how important a go-to guy is. New England pretty much made the slot receiver position extremely important, where every team needs at least one player on their team that can play slot, because it's just so important. It takes the pressure off of the quarterback. It gives you an option on third down. They pretty much they're making positions that was otherwise looked at as I'll say flex positions, where it's flexible. You don't have to have somebody there because it's not a super important position, but if you have somebody there, that's great. And they turned it into something that's a necessity now. Slot receiver is a necessity now. You have to have a slot receiver on your team for your offense to work at its optimal level. Seriously, every team they're looking for at least one quick receiver. Like, seriously, Tyreek Hill, when he was drafted, I'm pretty sure they were looking at him like he was going to be their slot receiver. And then he turned into a beast. Ability
to overcome adversity. And if you can't handle getting gut punched and responding, this business probably isn't for you. And
the Rams got outplayed. Belichick just showed how dangerous he is. You're talking about a super talented team. This team has Pro Bowlers all throughout the whole team. Even their quarterback, who's in his third year, was playing at an all-pro level at one point. And Belichick completely tore the offense apart. And then when it mattered the most, the offense was able to take advantage of, I would say, poor positioning by the defense. Like Aaron Donald was, almost neutralized. He obviously, the defensive line was able to get to Brady. The defensive backs were able to effectively do their job for a majority of the game, but a lot of the plays that they gave up, and besides that Gronk play was just a great fucking play. And sometimes you can't defend against a great play. There's no way you can stop a great play. And that was a great play. But a lot of Julian's catches, he caught 10 passes in that game. A lot of those catches he was just leaving those cornerbacks. You're talking about world-class athletes, cornerbacks. And a lot of the league look at Julian Edelman like he's just some small Wes Welker wannabe. And he was completely just dusting it. Throughout the entire playoffs, he was just dusting people. It was just poor coaching, and it was poor play by that team.
That's the only way that I know how to respond as a coach. I know our coaching staff feels that way. I know our players feel that way, and that's what's powerful.
Any other insight you can lend as to why Todd Gurley's production was down in the final 2 games?
Because, you know what, that's actually a really good question. And I was about to say something like I knew the answer, and I'm not going to do that. I hate when I do that. I'm not going to do that. There are probably a multitude of different conclusions that you can come to. But the one that I was thinking about is just Todd Gurley is an inconsistent back. If you look at Todd Gurley's NFL career, coming out of Georgia, when he was drafted to the Rams, which a lot of people were, they were surprised that the Rams took a chance on him, because I don't think that he was first round. No. I was thinking about somebody else. No, Todd Gurley was the one that was, he sat for a majority of the college football season because he just wanted to prepare for the draft. I was thinking about somebody else. I'm sorry. But, He was the running back that sat for a majority of the college season just to prepare for the. And a lot of people didn't think he was going to get drafted. Honestly, I mean, they were on the fence about, is this dude, is he draftable? Can you draft this guy since he sat for, and there were a lot of question marks surrounding him. And then when the Rams went and got him, he balled out his first year. His first year, he looked like a Pro Bowl running back. I mean, and I was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, he's fast. He looks like he's a physical runner. I mean, how the hell do you stop a guy like that? And then what happened his second year? Jesus Christ. I mean, he was just so ineffective. It was like you didn't even know if Todd Gurley still played football. That's how invisible this dude was. And then his third year, which I believe was last year. No, 2 years ago. 2 years ago. His third year. I mean, he looked like a Pro Bowl running back again. And then this year, he just completely disappeared. And that's why they had to go out and get C.J. Anderson, because you needed to make sure that you had some semblance of a running game. And they want to make it seem like they got C.J. Anderson just so they could take some of the pressure off of Todd. No, they got C.J. Anderson because just in case Todd can't go, we need to make sure we got a running back we can rely on. And then C.J. Anderson, who is not a bad back, C.J. Anderson is a really good back. That dude actually won me my first fantasy football title when he played for Denver. I had him at the running back, and he was just solid all year. And I really grew a respect for his ability to run the ball. He's not super fast. I wouldn't say he's one of the strongest backs when he was in Denver, but he was reliable. You could rely on C.J. Anderson to at least get you at least 70 or 80 rushing yards, or then sometimes he'll come out and he'll have like a 120 rushing yard game, and then he'll have like 2 touchdowns or some shit like that. He's one of those backs. And that's why they got C.J. Anderson, because they couldn't trust Todd Gurley anymore. And I'll be surprised if they can really depend on him this year. I think they drafted a running back this year. I mean, he's super inconsistent. And they say it's an injury, and they say that if it is, I wouldn't know. But I'm just going off of what I've seen his entire NFL career. He's been extremely inconsistent. Now, if he's injured this year, or if he was injured last year, then he must have been injured his second year and nobody said anything. Because, Todd Gurley can disappear.
Well, in reality, when you really look at it, we had gone in knowing that we wanted to be able to kind of almost have a shared load between he and CJ. So
no. See, you see what I'm saying? That's what they've been saying that shit since they picked CJ Anderson up, man. Like, this is supposed to be some running back by committee type shit. No, you got CJ because you needed a running back you could depend on in the playoffs. Because when they picked C.J. Anderson up, I believe that's when Gurley wasn't playing, or he wasn't playing very well. And then they picked C.J. Anderson up. They put C.J. Anderson in the game, and this dude was completely killing it for like the last 3-4 weeks of the season into the playoffs. It's like he's trying to make it seem like we got C.J. because we wanted to try to take some of the load off of Todd. Help Todd. With some of those carries. No. Because if you want to be honest, I mean, C.J. Anderson was your workhorse. I mean, Todd wasn't really doing shit. Now, granted, in the Super Bowl, C.J. really didn't do shit either. But you could just tell, man. It was a speed thing with C.J. If C.J. had the speed, man, with the size and strength, I don't know, if he could have channeled his inner Jerome Bettis, I think he would have been really pivotal for them in that game.
The amount of attempts that we had just rushing the ball in the last couple games was a little bit different. And specific to the game the other night, Todd gets into a little bit of a rhythm, or it seemed like when we'd have a good positive run, then something would inevitably occur to set us back. And then when you're not efficient on third downs, we just didn't get a lot of attempts off.
The part that makes me the most sick about it is that our defense played so well. And you say, you're going to be in the Super Bowl, and your defense is going to hold the New England Patriots to 13 points, and you guys are...
That right there is an image of a guy. The image before this and this image right here is just the image of a guy who is so reliant upon one player to help his game that when he didn't have Jared Goff just now with that hat on, at the press conference, he looked depressed, man. It looked like he was crying. I'm gonna go back a little bit. It looked like he was crying. Like, look at his face, man. It looked like he got that scrunched up face. Now, if that's how he really looks, that's sad. But I don't know, man. He just looks super sad, man. He looks super sad, and he looks depressed. Like, it could be because he didn't play well. You know? I did a poll of the top 100 players by fans on this Amino app. And a lot of the comments that I was getting through the first 10 picks were, where's Jared Goff? Where's Jared Goff? And I'm like, I mean, Jared Goff may have played well this season, but come on, bro. You really think that he's a top 5 quarterback? No way in hell. Shit, I put Aaron Rodgers up in that motherfucker before I put him in there. And I'm one of the most critical people of Aaron Rodgers. Because I think Aaron Rodgers his fans make his legend as bigger than it actually is, man. I think I asked somebody, I did a poll, and I asked people, I said, do you think with Aaron Rodgers being drafted 22nd, or I believe he was drafted, 24th overall, something like that. He was drafted, in one of those spots. And I was like, since he was a late first round pick, do you think that he underachieved in his career? And everybody said, no, he overachieved. No, he didn't. Aaron Rodgers is looked at as one of the most talented quarterbacks in NFL history, but this dude could not win consistently in the playoffs. He got the one Super Bowl. Did he get the one Super Bowl? Yeah, one Super Bowl. He beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that was just it. He didn't do anything else. I mean, he put up a whole bunch of gaudy numbers, man, but that was it. He didn't do shit. He haven't done anything in his career that would make me hoist him into the top 5 of quarterbacks of all time. And if we're just going off of talent, there's plenty of players that should be in the top 10 all time because they were super fucking talented. Like, come on, man. Jared Goff had a good season, man. I'm gonna do a part 2. Because I spent a lot of this video just railing on the fucking Rams. Jared Goff had a good season, but to think that this dude is a top 5 quarterback, and I'm on the fence. And see, and the one time I was prisoner in the moment in the last 2 years was when I said that I believe Carson Wentz is the best quarterback in the NFL before the season started. If I'm just looking at before he got hurt when they won the Super Bowl, he might be the most talented quarterback in the NFL. So in my mind, he might be the best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, because before this dude got hurt, this dude was Aaron Rodgers, but younger. More energetic Aaron. He was a more energetic Aaron Rodgers, pretty much. I mean, he was ridiculously accurate. I mean, he was a fucking killer. I mean, surgical. Carson Wentz was surgical. And it took me a while to come around to the thought that this dude might be great already in his second year. And then when I finally come around to that way of thinking, he lays a fucking egg like he did last year. So I'm gonna do a second video, man.